Hello, I hope you can see me and you can hear me. Hello, welcome to my channel. Well, I've got some crazy stuff to talk about today, and I'm going to start a little bit backwards today. I think I'm a little bit fuzzier. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I have to say I'm not really in the best frame of mind. You would have seen I posted that there was a big incident yesterday in Australia. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update about it because it's really, because we are such a small country, we get into real big shots. I mean, that's a floral tribute there at the moment. So that it was a lone person, and what's also happened is that this has now gone into 2 states. This involves 2 states. It's because it was a Queensland man who took the lives of 6 people, and there are still 12 people in the hospital. He was a 40-year-old man, and he used a knife. So there was a male victim, a security guard, 5 victims, 4 women and a man, and another woman died in hospital, and she was the mother of the child. And so at the house this morning, and the family will release a statement later today, but they will issue a statement about, with respect to their own condolences and thoughts to the family and friends of the victims involved. Equally, they have sent a message to New South Wales Police Force with respect to the support of the police officer who ended by ending their son's life, and they expressed concerns for her welfare. So he grew up in Queensland, and they're saying that he is known to have had a mental illness and diagnosed at the age of 17. And this is the man that they've identified as the attacker. And it is believed that he acted alone, and they're just trying to trace the movements and what happened. And of course, there's just all sorts of things. So the mother, this is the lady, this is the mother who lost her life protecting her. and the family are devastated. And hello, Terry. So her family said, today we are reeling from the terrible loss of Ashley, a beautiful daughter, mother, sister, partner, friend, all-round outstanding human, and much more. We appreciate the well wishes and thoughts of members of the Australian public who have expressed outpouring of love for Ashley and our baby girl. Ashley's family have thanked the staff at the Sydney Children's Hospital for their expert care and attention, and the New South Wales for their diligence and kindness. Now, what's really interesting, the family is struggling to come to terms with what had occurred, and there are some victims that have family in Australia. Players will wear black armbands. So one of the victims' father was an AFL player, and so they're wearing black armbands in memory of her. The club confirmed. Hello, Heather. Bystanders praised for heroic act. There is talks about the mother giving her child plate stranger, and so that they could look after the baby. Somebody also attacked him with a bollard. There's all sorts. I mean, so people. So this is the official picture that was released by the family. Two men who cared. So the family, they're also the family thanked to the two men who for our baby when Ashley could not. Words cannot express our gratitude. The statement reads, we can report that after hours of surgery yesterday, our baby is currently doing well. This on a show called Bondi Rescue. He was actually shopping at the time, and he went to help somebody, and someone said, you can't go. And he goes, but I'm a lifeguard, I need to help. So he was able to go and assist until such time as he did first aid, and then when the paramedics came, he was able to hand them over. There are stories of shop assistants locking people in the backs of their shops just to keep them safe. You know, there are so many people and so many places that provide refuge. Hair salon kept her store open for those who were fleeing. So it's been an interesting day today. As I said, because we're a small nation, we all mourn together, and we're just going, why? And it looks like this guy has had an extensive history with mental health, and I just think, oh, why are our mental health services still so bad? The family have said that, and he'd only been living in New South Wales for a month. So, and we will never know. The police inspector has been deemed a hero, and she is very humble. She has said she was just doing her job, and that the real heroes are the passers-by. Let me just find her here. Inspector Amy Scott, her name is, and she has been. She was actually the story. The way the story goes is that she actually was nearby, and she actually ended up being the first officer on the spot. And she happened to. This is her. That's him. And he lunged at her. All she said was, "Put it down." Then he lunged at her, and she ended it. And then after she ended it, she went and provided with first aid. The hello Bo, hello Bella, hello Heather, hello Terry. So what they've done is they're offering her support. She was recognised. She said that she acted on instinct. We spoke about police and how those instincts come into play. She said she paid tribute to the bystanders, that they were more important, but she's content with what she had to do. And they're going to be keeping an eye on her because, as I said, everyone's calling her a hero, because although it's a tragedy with 7 people now not here, it could have been a lot more. So I want to just start with that. Let's start with the green stuff and then get on to the other crazy stuff. Because we've had some meltdowns. So we've got to go back a bit. So, yeah. So, yes, so my heart's a little bit heavy at the moment, and so that's why. You know, being in Australia, we always think this doesn't happen in Australia, but yes, it does. So let's segue. Let's change. Let's change our gears and let's go to the craziness. All right. So we're going to first of all look at her posts here, and then we're going to go and I've got a couple of videos for you to watch. I have actually tagged them already. One is Nini's video, which talks about she's gone through the 23 police reports filed involving Katie Joy, and then another video, and then her reaction of that video, which has since been deleted. She says, "Not message me questions to these messages. Please leave questions. I do not have the capacity to answer questions privately. I do not engage in private conversations ever. This does not ever work on my platform. If you have questions, please leave a comment. I only respond to private messages that are tips or forms from sources. I have over 500,000 followers across my platform and simply do not have the capacity to speak privately in there." And of course, she's got her comments off. So how are you supposed to ask her a question if you cannot leave a comment? Here's my first question for you. Yes, prayers for all the families of the victims. I know at church today we actually had a special prayer where we actually prayed, and it's interesting that the offenders' families also come out in support of what's happened. So they'll be making a statement later as well. But we prayed for the offender's family as well. Just because you have a family member that does something and wrong doesn't mean that you're all to blame. Might have been that he just got lost in a messed up system. But okay. This one says, "Okay, I'm a faithful follower. We don't always see eye to eye, but when I'm writing, I listen to you. I was on the Sister Wives page on Facebook tonight, and they all screaming at you. One particular said you have something while involved with your page. Can you clear this up for me? I didn't give this any credence." So she says, "Here's an example of the questions I am getting at the moment. People are so emotional and at the reporting on Sister Wives that ridiculous rumours are being thrown out." I mean, who's doing most of the rumours anyway? Without a crystal ball, reports polygamous cults, which include men that marry minor children. These groups are filled with men that are peas, you know the word. Now I'm being gaslit in groups with projection that have P's on my page in groups. I do not have any employees. I do not have any groups. My big Facebook page remains hacked. I have a smaller new page with 18K followers. I have no one else running this page but myself and my husband. Oh, so he does run the page. Neither of us are P's. I absolutely have no P's in my moderators on YouTube. The games the cult members play to reverse the narrative exhausting and predictable. I am posting because I don't respond to messages. Interesting. All right. Here's another. But isn't her brother-in-law one? Or supposed to be one? And didn't she have one on her channel? Allegedly. An alleged. All right. So there's that one. Then she's talking about cult tactic. One is Darvo whistleblowers, actual victims of the cult, and reverse the narrative. AUB and polygamous cults use this method to intimidate and silence victims that speak out. I am not a victim of this cult. I am not being Darvoed. But the cult is doing this on social media at the moment to whistleblowers that are victims. So she has just admitted she's not a victim of the cult. Okay. Garrison Brown announced another Garrison post. She said that Christine posted a series of photos. She said that they planted a tree. Christine's been receiving backlash because she didn't post anything about Garrison on his actual birthday. However, some fans are upset that she posted on the business page. You're joking. Why would she bring this up? We know the people. We know the only ones that are talking about it is her. This is the highly emotional time for Sister Wives. There's a split in the fandom of who fully supports the family and those who criticise and blaming everyone in the family. The division is unlikely to die down anytime soon, as the family is filming the aftermath of Garrison's death. A new article revealed that the new season will be pointing fingers at each other, managing the guilt they feel, and trying to understand what they missed and what mistake was made that led to his death. Their decision to continue filming has also drawn a lot of criticism online. Regardless, the family seems content with the show. Well, the show's giving them some money, right, and some income. Now on to Cody's guns. Cody Brown and other fundamentalist polygamous men have been using gun shows without federal firearms license are about to be shut down. A new rule will go into effect in 30 days that closes the loopholes for vendors gun license at gun shows, online, flea markets, and social media. Under the new rule, anyone selling a gun is required to run a background check before it goes through. Additionally, if a vendor is selling a gun primarily to make a profit, they must be required to obtain a federal license to sell firearms. Cody Brown has been selling ghost gun kits along with guns at gun shows without a license for years. He has been able to use loopholes to sell guns on consignment or secondhand without a license or background checks. This loophole is frequently used to move guns used in crimes or untraceable guns. Attorney General Merrick Garland said this new rule will save lives via NPR. Under this regulation, it will not matter if guns are sold on the internet, at a gun show, or a brick and mortar store. If you sell guns predominantly to earn a profit, you must be licensed and you must conduct background checks. The Department of Justice, the new rule, which goes into effect in 30 days after it is submitted, will affect 23,000 unlicensed gun dealers. It has the potential tens of thousands of gun sales each year. It also allows for better tracing of guns that are found at crime scenes, including mass shootings. Cody Brown has travelled to gun show circuits for years. Many in the AUB were outed on secrets of polygamy for using untraceable firearms that are legally modified and purchased. Cody will either need to become a licensed gun dealer or quit hustle. Thank you, Vidandra. Thank you, Bo. If you hang out with me for too long, I'll brainwash you into believing in yourself and thinking you can achieve anything, she says. And Katie says, this is brainwashing I can get behind. All right. Here's another long post. So someone says, I'm very confused. In the previous video, you made it clear that there were comments blaming her, but instead of flat out denying it to her, her actions were caused by religious brainwashing. Can you see how this gives the impression that you indirectly blamed Janelle? This video comes across as indirectly blaming her. In reality, you don't know what is going on when Garrison was struggling. Can you see how your wording might be initial? To that she says, are you kidding? That severe mental gymnastics, I never said she was to blame. Get out of here. She's indoctrinated, which means her beliefs are not her own. She's a high control group. That literally places blame on the cult and the group and not the individual. Even with that indoctrination, did she do a thing to harm a child? If you want to talk about mental gymnastics. All right. So there's a very long post here. Very, very long post. So this may take us a while. All right, so this might take us a while to get through this. All right, this says what it's like to try and reason with enablers of cults. When someone is indoctrinated, they are conditioned to believe information without critically thinking. Cults use specific members to tear down people's pre-cult personality and replace their personality with cult programming. Once someone is indoctrinated into a cult, they will accept what is told without question. When they do question, they will be shamed, degraded, punished, or expelled. People learn quickly when asking questions only it's the consequences. It doesn't sound like Katie Joy and her channel. If you ask questions, you'll get blocked. Anyway, in a high control group, fear is used to keep people unstable. And clearly, threats of losing their eternity, damnation, and community shunning are used to psychologically hold people in a system. The cult's only purpose is to support the needs and desires of the leader. Everyone is made into a carbon copy of what the leader demands. In the apostolic United Brethren, leaders dictate clothing, music, socializing, media, food, beverages, friendships, marriages, family structures. Individuals cannot be married without approval by a prophet. Marriages can be denied by the prophet if a man does not live up to standards. Leaders can remove all the wives from a man and assign them to another man. They are taught to fear outsiders, law enforcement, doctors, and therapists. The individuals are indoctrinated that they are victims of a system of belief that only benefit the leader. They are not and are not ever to blame for the coercive methods. The leaders, the cult leaders hold them in the beginning. It is not directly blaming anyone. It's stating why someone may not do what is expected. A socially acceptable response. Blame. It is for explanation. Even that program, none of that changes that Janelle nor anyone in our own family is to blame for Garrison's death. I thought she was blaming Cody. Now she's saying that no one's to blame. Here's another line. She's writing sermons at the moment. Is sermon the sermon from the Cape? For years, there has been a very deep public division regarding the understanding of Mormon fundamentalist polygamous sex. Due to heavy propaganda pushed by the pro-polygamy advocates, there is misinformation regarding the sinister nature of these groups. Despite glamorous depictions of polygamy on national television through the show Sister Wives, the facts of polygamy have not changed, and the closed groups are cults. The AUB, which Cody and Robert Brown remain loyal, is a cult that controls members through fear, manipulation, and coercion. Publicly, the Brown family have dissed the group, but numerous former members Rose says she leaves out mentions that people often act indoctrinated to get along, forming their own opinions, hence why people leave. They do, yes. She does there. Publicly, the Brown family have distanced themselves from the group, but numerous former members that I've spoken to assert the door is always open for the Brown family. In fact, Cody and Robin maintain relationship with families and friends. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Sunshine and Rain. I'm trying a different system today. So, I'm trying something different today. So, I'm just trying to find something that works. Is this better? Hopefully this is better. I'm a bit annoyed with it all at the moment. Okay. Cody even allegedly met with AUB leaders in the last several years, discussing the possibility of returning to the group. There were talks at one point of allegedly Cody Pass as property for a small compound where Cody wanted to serve as a bishop. This hope did not come to pass due to lack of interest and followers willing to move to Arizona, according to my sources. Oh, that's great, Sunshine and Rain. The AUB controls marriages, and no one can be married without the approval of the prophet. Marriages can be split up by the prophet as well, and women can be reassigned to other men. All right, so here's a question. Why then was Christine allowed to leave and not be reassigned? If they're saying they're all part of the cult, right, and Cody wanted to, all right, so why then have all the wives been allowed to leave and they've not been reassigned? If this is what she's saying, she says the AUB controls marriages and no one can be married without the approval of the bishop. Marriages can be split up by the prophet as well, and women can be reassigned to other men. The lines of authority within the group dictate that men are the only ones with the power inside the family, and the patriarch is the priesthood of his family, and the male has full control over the women and children. Well, sister wives have shown us that not to be true, but anyway. Men in this group believe all the money made in the family belongs to them. A woman's only purpose in a family, children, and work for the patriarch. Once a woman can no longer reproduce, she's put out to pasture like an old cow, according to multiple sources from the group. Women are neglected, left to fend for themselves, and often live in severe poverty. Children are neglected by their fathers and have their mothers heartbroken due to jealousy and neglect of their husband. Polygamous sex are cults, period. And someone's mentioned a different show, but Seeking Sister Wives, and she goes, it's not Mormon fundamentalists, and it's a trash show I refuse to give any attention to. And then says, I agree, but one couple claim to be Mormon. So why then? She said, so why then isn't she doing the Seeking Sister Wives? What? Because they're not Mormon? So it's okay for you to live in polygamy if you're not religious. Is that what she's saying? Because this is what I am not understanding here. She won't touch Seeking Sister Wives because they're not Mormon. Well, isn't that hypocritical? I think that's hypocritical. I'm just going to turn, so I'm just trying to make this big, so just in case you so you can read it. So hopefully that's better. Anyway, thank you all for bearing with me while I'm trying to sort all of my computer out. Okay. So now we've got, I speak to former members of this cult every day. When I tell you I have current information about the cult, I know exactly what is going on. One of my closest contacts is the daughter of the current prophet, Amy, to all the deplorable actions happening in this cult. It is incorrect. It is incorrect to say that Cody Brown is out of the cult. People that disavow the church, the leaders, and polygamy are completely shunned. They are labelled apostates and called evil and wicked. Cody Brown refuses to disavow his church and leaders. He can even refers to the AUB as his church to this day. He reveres Owen Allwood as the church. Cody refuses to denounce me. Cody refuses to denounce Joseph Smith. Cody believes that he failed at polygamy, but that it can be done. Cody Anderson was in the group. Cody and Cole would not be friends if he was out. Cody is not labelled an apostate by the church. He's not been excommunicated, and he's not committed any sins that would have him removed as a member. Cody's family in Wyoming, as the Wyoming branch of the AUB, who remains in regular contact with them, with his brother Scott, and many of his family members in Wyoming, including his mum, are still in the group. Oh, shock horror! Cody still talks to his family. Just because she doesn't. The AUB and Cody have an agreement that he will not publicly speak about his church due to not placing the church under scrutiny. Cody remains tied to men that have been directly tied to the AUB priesthood militia. Cody publicly, constantly to protect his church. He may not attend regularly, but he's certainly not out. I'm going to be back in a minute. I'm going to try one more microphone. Okay, how's this one? This is the first one I did when I started streaming. I've just gone and pulled it out. Hopefully this works. So please let me know if it's okay. I'm just trying to get the sock on it properly. So again, it's been a while since I've used this one. You probably can hear everything that you don't want to hear now. All right, so here we go. Hopefully this works. All right. So this says your neighbor. Have you ever thought of having your narcissistic borderline disorder DBT? I know it will help with your Munchausen's syndrome by proxy. I hear they are having good success at DBT. You should consider getting help from an actual professional instead of your tirades and meltdowns. Good luck and blessed karma. Since cult members are cute, since they love to project, my guess is this person emailing me has all of these diagnoses. I have never been diagnosed with any of these diagnoses ever. My husband is a stay-at-home. All of my sons' medical medical stuff, so you can't blame me. Plus, we aren't lying about our son. It's proven by the state of Minnesota's medical review team that he's 100% disabled and this designation since he's been infant. Yell at the state and the actual doctors for all, saving his life. Okay, so that's all of those. Now we get to the wild stuff, but before we get to the wild stuff, we have to talk about this video because this set off a lot of reaction, and this you will have known. I'm going to speed it up. I have linked this channel below, my take on reality. This person not listing the channel because I don't want to give them any more shine than they already have. This is ridiculous. So this is my take on reality. This is where we find that lovely comment about about her being a journalist. It was under this video. Let's find it. It's one of these ones down here. This is a nice little rant here. Everyone's assumed they know who the YouTubers. Nobody has actually. It's never. Someone says I've never heard her blaming Janelle. In fact, it's the opposite. And someone else says, since the creator is neither psychologist, psychiatrist, mental health care provider, PhD, or even educated in any field of S prevention, she shouldn't be commenting on anything because she lacks the skills and knowledge to speak on this matter. In addition, she has no official studies or research into polygamy, holds no degrees, has not lived the faith, rarely speaks to anyone involved in this lifestyle, has never, except donations, worked with an agency supporting ex-members or personality set down, conversation with a member of leadership. She has no skills or professional experience. The Dunning-Kruger effect is defined as the tendency of people with low ability in a specific area, positive assessments of disability. This is often seen as a cognitive bias, i.e. as a systematic tendency to engage in erroneous forms of thinking and judging. In the case of the Dunning-Kruger effect, this applies mainly to people with low skill set in specific areas trying to evaluate their competence within this area. The systematic error concerns their tendency to greatly overestimate their competence, to see themselves as more skilled than they are. So, we've got these rants. There was a lot of comments on here. But as I said, this is where this comment about her being the judge and as a journalist. And then, her stands are in here, never ever say anything. Also, you didn't listen carefully to her video. She did not blame Janelle. This is funny how you made the assertion. I'm talking about WICB. So, and so everyone's saying, I think you're talking about KJ. I think about KJ, or they're mentioning her. This is where, as I said, this is where this comment came from. I can't find it now. Of course I can't. Oh, someone says, now Katie's saying you're jealous of her channel, her sub count and money, and said you're stealing her subs and money by putting this video up, even though you never named her. She does this every time she's called out. It's okay for her to talk badly on a creator she feels wronged. Rules for thee, but not for me, is her way. She's disgusting. I hope you continue to expose her. He says, oh, you mean WOACB? Like you said, a channel or creator by name. Anyone who wants to wear it is welcome to it. So, yes, we're going to get to her stuff. She said about it. All right. So as I said, there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of videos, lots of comments here. All right. So I've linked his video down. I've linked his video down below because I want you to have a look at it. All right. As I said, as he says, he never names her, never names it. But I think we all know who he's talking about, and that's fine. You know, people saying that, you know, it sounds like you're talking about WOACB. All right. So let's have a look at this.
To go in and try to blame Janelle for what happened to her son. And from that point, I say, leave Janelle.
This is going to be very important. Pay attention who this guy is, okay? Because it's going to be very important because Katie, she's deleted it, but she accused him of being white supremacists. This man. Yes, this man.
Leave her alone. It's not your place. You don't know this woman. Stop going in and trying to figure out in your little mind, in your little world, what's going on in her world. You don't know her. None of us do. We don't sit here. I watch a TV show. Okay, I watch a TV show. I maybe read a couple articles, watch a few videos, but I don't know this woman. I don't know this family personally. And frankly, it's insulting that when you deal with the real life events that happen in these people's lives, this isn't entertainment anymore. The minute that that young man took his own situation, canceled his subscription to Life, the minute he did that, this stopped being something we're just commentating on, something that we're seeing on TV that could be played up for the kids, something that could be scripted, events that could be put together for our entertainment. This is real life. This woman suffered a terrible loss that nobody should be trying to pick apart with little articles here and there and trying to figure out and tell her what she's feeling, why she's feeling it, why she didn't call the cops, why she didn't go over to the house when she thought something was going on with her son. How come she didn't know that there was a problem with her son? You don't know this woman. For one. For two, obviously, if you've ever talked to somebody who has any type of issue, or a friend, or somebody you've known, even orbitally, or in a satellite position where they're just kind of around. If you talk to somebody who is even kind of going through a situation like this, where they're dealing with substance abuse issue, they're dealing with problems or depression or whatever the case may be, especially with regard to their child, they're trying to figure it out. Not everybody picks up the phone and says, "Hey, 911, why don't you come 302 or put my kid in involuntary committal." Not everybody does that because a lot of times when you're in these situations, you're hoping for the best and you're trying to navigate these situations the best way you.
I'll also note that I did speed him up, all right? He doesn't talk this fast, right? But yes, I think he's very spot on as to who he's describing. I think we all know who he's talking about.
Know how. The problem is there is no book. There's no guideline. There's no instruction manual that we get, even as parents, to tell us how to deal with these types of situations. I thank God every day that I don't have to deal with this problem. But not every parent out there has that ability to say that. And I have to be mindful of the fact that there are people out there who are going through this, and we, even as content creators, I understand it, I get the grind. You want to come up with interesting, compelling content to try to draw people in, draw people's attention so that you can get views. I understand it. I get it. I get it. But what I can't stand by is, one of the things that I said early on, part of the reason why I took a break from Sister Wives, was the whole idea that not all money is good money. You get to a point where some of this money starts to be blood money. And that's money that I can't be involved with. That stuff I can't co-sign. Get behind you when you're sitting here so worried and so pressed about criticizing this woman and her faith and calling it a cult and saying that, oh, there's a religion. Janelle didn't grow up in the AUB. Let's get it point blank stop right there. She didn't grow up in the AUB. Her kids, she had home births, but she had no problem with going to the hospital. Cody's name appears on all her kids' birth certificates. You know why? Because she doesn't do the whole AUB because that's not how she grew up. She didn't go to the house. I understand why she didn't go to the house. Let me explain it to you. For those who don't understand why Janelle, when she thought something might have happened to her son, she didn't run over to the house. One, when you think that something has happened at the house, one of the things that you may do, even as a son, As a son, it's my understanding that Logan had asked his brother Gabriel to go over to the house to check on his other brother. That's my understanding. As a son, I understand where Logan was at. Some things you don't want the mom to see. If something did happen and he's not answering the phone because he fell asleep, he passed out, or whatever the case may be, that's one thing. You go over there, you give a call to the mom and say, hey, mom, guess what? He's fine. He just slept through it. He missed the phone was dead or was downstairs, he was upstairs, whatever the case may be. But in worst case scenario, if there is something terrible going on in the house, mom doesn't need to see that. Not so she can appeal to you to make other viewers and people who watch the show feel better because now she's involved. She didn't have to see that. I wish to goodness that Gabe didn't see it. So it's ridiculous to me that people are sitting there trying to point fingers at her, this woman who threw something that hopefully, I pray that nobody ever experiences this. I pray I never experience it. I've seen the power and the damage that this kind of thing can cause in a family. And I'm telling you that what she's going through, she has enough on her plate. She's asking questions to herself. She's blaming herself. She's mad at herself. She's mad at her ex. She's mad at everybody. She's mad at the world. She's probably gonna be mad because I'm even commenting on it. But somebody's got to say it. Look, I have no problem. I just let people live their life, do what you got to. Somebody's got to stand up and say something. Leave this damn woman alone. I understand that she is sitting there and she has a lot on her plate and she's going through a lot of things. Leave her alone. There's enough for us to be able to talk about with regard to Sister Wives. We're not having to drag her and her son into everything conversation that you have. I understand it gets a lot of clicks and a lot of views, but we don't have to keep dragging them in. Come on, people. Let's be better. Let's do better. This is ridiculous. Now, I'm sorry I'm going off and I'm sorry it's coming off angry, but I got to come in hot because it's ridiculous. I've seen people sit here and blame this woman on what happened. Like she's the master of the universe. She can change people's minds. You guys are no better than the people that you criticize. How about that? You want to sit here and criticize? They're so misogynistic and they try to put everything on the women and they try to make the women feel bad. They treat them like they're second-class citizens. Like the only thing they're good for is taking care of children. And then the first thing you do when a tragedy happens, there's a lot of things that could have been going on. I don't know him. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of stuff that you could point to because I've seen it on the show and I can say, hey, this is the stuff I'm aware of, but that may not be the reason. You know why? Because I don't know. And I dare to say this, you don't know either. Leave this woman alone. That's my take. I'm James. This is my take on reality. If you have a question or comment, hit me up in the questions. My take on reality questions at gmail.com. I don't care. And if you're a content creator, you want to have that debate or discussion, come call me, talk to me. We can do this online, offline, whatever. But like I said, leave that woman alone. Let her sit there and deal with her stuff.
I'd love to see him and Katie Joy, right? We know she wouldn't do it, would she? Would she team up on it?
The way she need to deal with it. This is not the time to be sitting there trying to rub it in on what decisions she made and who she was with and what she chose to do with her life. Let her live her life. Because here's the thing. I thought it was over, but it's not over. Here's the thing. And one of the toughest parts of her being a mother of multiple children, she not only has to manage her grief and her loss, but she has to be there and be strong for her kids and the people around her who are relying on her, who lost a sibling. She has to be there for them. She has to be strong for them. She has to be strong for everybody else. And nobody give her a break. Back up off of her. Leave her alone. If you want to criticize somebody, criticize me. Come to me. And we leave her alone. And on that note, I'm out.
Go. What's his channel name? It's called My Take on Reality, Sunshine and Rain. My Take on Reality. I actually have linked it in the description box below. So I've actually linked it there for you. So hopefully you can find him. But I believe he does do some now. You've got that in your mind, all right? You've seen him, all right? I'm going to show you something else now. It is now deleted. She had posted on her Instagram this. Okay, let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Without any balls, Miss Balls. Posted this. Oh, wait on. She's already. Oh, there's lots of stuff here. Okay, here we go. So this is deleted, okay? This is deleted. There's so much to go through here. So she posted, it's now deleted. Yes, It might have. This is what she said. James, do not damage my brand for falsely claiming in quotes that I said these words. I am getting harassed non-stop because of your video screaming and yelling about a false allegation that I blamed Janelle. You are taking my words completely out of context. I never once said she was to blame. I was responding to people in my comments blaming her. Everything I stated about the culture is factual. They are told that law enforcement are Satan's agents, so they do not handle emergencies with law enforcement. Even with that fact, it does not place blame on Janelle. Since your video, my comments and channel have been spammed with harassment that is damaging my business. You have stated that AUB is not a cult. It is a dangerous cult that traffics women and children, which explains the fear that people live in every day. They are told daily it would be better to die than to leave the church. The cult is a paramilitary militia. Who hasn't caged out? Oh no, that's all right. I'm sure he's worried. Paramilitary militia that is prepared to blow up canyons and roadways to stop the federal government. You are defending a white supremacist cult. Did you just hear that? Remember, I said to keep that in mind. You are defending a white supremacist cult that believes that people of color are cursed and should be eradicated through the population of white children. You are claiming that I'm blaming a woman that is a victim of trafficking into a cult for the purpose of making babies. Indoctrination is a fact. That is not blame. Janelle Brown did not do anything to cause Garrison's death on March 4, 2024. So the right thing and to retract your comments and stop damaging my work with your false claims. And this is what he wrote. This is what set her going. So thank you for your comment. In the video I watched, it was asserted, Janelle grew up in a culture where you don't contact the police, you don't seek counselling, and because of her involvement in the cult, she didn't feel comfortable going over to a man's house, including her son's home, to check on him. I'm not ganging up on any content creator, but just as I would react to Cody or Robin for misdeeds, I will call out other YouTubers if I feel they have stepped over the line. Now, my recollection is that his quote's pretty spot on, because if you remember, we watched that video, my question, where she said that she couldn't go into any man's house, including her son's. And I went, well, obviously that's why she didn't. And that is the comment that she has said is damaging her brand. All right? That is damaging her brand. All right. Nelly has got every one of Katie Joy's police reports from 2017. And now this is where it gets really interesting. I've also put her video in, which is I'm still in the process of watching it, where she's gone through it.
Pursue plea, probably because you're already in so many other lawsuits. During the email conversation, Paulson asked, redacted, who are you? They responded again.
This is where she's been, where she didn't. There's been 23 police reports, by the way.
In the backyard with the dogs when neighbor yelled at her because the dogs were by his fence. Catherine was not threatened, but feels scared to now go outside because she may get yelled at. Neighbor has been confronted by Todd about the issue in the past. Todd did not want me to make contact with neighbor, but wanted the matter documented. Todd had nothing further to report, and the call was ended. Nothing further. Can you imagine calling the police because your neighbor yelled at you? I've said this in a video before, but we all know Katie Joy was in school who, if she wanted to go
stuff and there's a lot of reports that she's made. I'm just trying to find another one.
And was not involved.
I'm just so stupid.
He advised that he would contact the redacted office and
okay. Oh yeah, this is the Gabby Potato one. Remember that?
At the residence had placed a G to the female's, I think that means head, and threatened her hands, well as placing the G and was threatening redacted brain damage and a feeding tube.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Now, there were some calls made. Nene talks about showing the reports that were made. If you remember that video around the tardy time, they were her subs that contacted.
On 9 at 10:47 hours, I was dispatched to address for a check. Watch sent me information of a mandated report. There was concern that
A mandated report? So does that mean it was a mandated reporter? If it's a mandated reporter, it can't be her stands.
Catherine Paulson was redacted by the sheriff's department. It was reported that Vaughn has heart disease, autism, ADHD, hydrocephalus, brain damage, and a feeding tube. I was familiar with the Paulsons due to other alleged redacted complaints that have been unfounded. Catherine routinely posts videos online to a channel called Without a Crystal Ball. Catherine has a large amount of followers, and there's a small group that appears to be making allegations of redacted. There is very little information of the original reporting party. I sent an email to the reporting party to try and obtain more info. I did not receive a response. At 12:02 hours, I arrived at address and spoke with Catherine Paulson. Catherine informed me she never redacted. Catherine's small group of people online that routinely threaten her and false accusations invited me inside, and I was able to speak with her son Vaughn. Vaughn appeared healthy and any indications redacted. The house is tight and well kept. The main NDAs must have just been there. I provided Catherine the case number for my report and left the residence. I never received a response from the reporting party. No further information was provided for their contact.
The fact that it says from a mandated report.
Info. If more info is received, I will update the report. At this time, there is no evidence. Redacted. On 9/19/2021, at 14:21 hours, I was dispatched to assist for Hennepin County Redacted and the FBI at address. I contacted Redacted from Hennepin County Redacted, advised that they received 5 complaints about possible redacted and redacted that occurred at the above address. All 5 reports online and stated that they observed either photos or videos redacted and possible redacted. Does nobody in central Minnesota proofread? There was also complaints that the male at the residence had placed a G to the female's, I think that means head, and threatened her hands, well as placing the G and was threatening redacted. No photos or videos were provided to redacted. While speaking with Redacted, I was advised that I was to call the Denver office of the FBI prior to going to the residence. I contacted Special Agent who advised that they had received a phone call on their tip line from Catherine Paulson, who advised that her husband had a Brian laundry hiding in her basement.
Is this Agent Steve? Steve?
Laundry is a person of interest in a missing person case of Gabby Petito from Wyoming. The FBI was requesting that we do a welfare check at the residence to ensure that there was not any other issues and that Laundry was not in fact there. I went to the residence with Deputy Redacted and I observed the main floor of the and observed a male sitting at the dining room or kitchen table. A female answered the door, identified as Catherine Paulson. I spoke to Catherine on her front doorstep. I advised her the reason I was at the residence and advised her of the multiple complaints that had been received. Catherine advised that she was a crime reporter blogger on YouTube and is considered
A crime reporter? Seriously, a crime reporter? A crime reporter?
a public figure. This was when she was covering the Gabby Petito case and trying to pass off as a crime reporter. And remember, she being like,
I used to write about crime for a very long time.
I have never seen one article of her writing anything about crime. I mean, maybe some tax stuff, but not true crime as far as missing persons. She was just trying to appeal to the people who are interested in the Gabby Petito case.
So anyways.
Catherine also advised that she had been in a cyber harassment, cyber stalking type event. They had some of the events a few days ago when they had ported to Wright County Redacted. Catherine advised that she currently is doing a blog on the Gabby Petito disappearance. I asked Catherine if there were any weapons in the house, and she stated that they did not own any G and there were no weapons in the house. Catherine also advised that she had received photo that her son's face photoshopped onto a body and had been posted online. Catherine advised that that had been reported to the FBI and they had already been investigating that out of the redacted office. I observed no marks or any type of new or old injuries to Catherine during the hour conversation. After a short conversation, I also asked to speak to her husband, who was in the residence. Todd Paulson stepped outside and I spoke with him about the complaints. Todd advised that there were no weapons of any kind in the residence and he did not own that there was no one hiding in the basement as their 8-year-old son is autistic and is not able to go to school currently, so is at the residence all the time.
Now that's really interesting because I know lots of autistic kids that go to school. So I don't know why he couldn't find it. Was that around COVID or not?
While talking to Todd and Catherine, I could observe the 8-year-old Vaughn Paulson playing with the dogs on the main floor. There were no observable marks or anything that would lead me to believe that there were any type of redacted going on at the residence. Vaughn has multiple doctors that he sees on a regular basis, along with social workers and an in-home health nurse, all of which are mandated reporters, and there have been no reports from any of those professional individuals. Catherine and Todd Paulson was audio and video recorded on my squad camera. I contacted Redacted from the FBI and advised him of my findings. He advised that he would contact the Redacted office and attempt to add this to the ongoing investigation that they currently have. I contacted the original person reporting and advised him of my findings and had him forward his report with the 5 complaints to my email.
So there was that one. That was the Petito one. Oh. So then we've got... Oh, here's a
name of Redacted and an IP address of Redacted was submitted. Upon my arrival, I noted there was no activity at the residence. The outside lights were on, along with the passenger vehicle parked in front of the 3rd stall garage door. I sat in the area where I had a residence to monitor traffic from the residence. I did not see any activity at residence. I continued to monitor the residence up until after the children buses. At this point, detective arrived on scene. We decided to make phone contact with Catherine Paulson. I contacted Catherine at her listed phone number in house files. Stated that she did not want any marked squad cars at her residence. I verified with Catherine Mansky Paulson and Todd Paulson. They and their son Vom were alive and well. I explained to Catherine the nature of the information the sheriff's office had received. Catherine stated that she would meet with detective. I turned the incident over to detective for further follow-up. In-house records indicate that Catherine Paulson, Todd Paulson, and Vaughn Paulson have an active HRO against a Redacted in the state of Redacted. The sheriff's office has received multiple complaints about incidents at the Paulson residence. Most stem from complaints over YouTube. At this time, multiple law enforcement and other agencies are investigating these complaints. One such entity is the FBI. Wright County Sheriff's Office also has an active court order violation being investigated against Redacted. Online form submittal attached and entered into evidence. Nothing further needed. Then verbal statements from Catherine Paulson. All the complaints are serious. No one is dead. All are alive. Does not want marked units at her residence due to her neighbors thinking they are bad people due to the amount of visits by the sheriff's office.
Now, when you watch this earlier, you'll see that there's been quite a few neighbours. I'm halfway through the video, but we'll have a look.
No, they just know you're bad people because of your actions. Is tired of the would prefer a detective to show up. This was a blatantly false call to police. They did do some further investigation on it. I'm just going to put that up screen. You can pause to see them. I do want to highlight some of the info though. In this one, Catherine Paulson is known to have a YouTube channel which covers crime-related topics. And then she mentions it again. Catherine says she doesn't know why they are doing this other than because she is a public figure with a public platform on YouTube where she reports on crime topics. Again, with the crime stuff. Like I said, this was during the Gabby Petito cover.
So why does she keep changing her narrative then? Oh, remember that one?
The CRP stated on her live stream she is using the F word and the C word constantly.
Fuck off, Lizzie.
The CRP said Catherine needs mental health help, but her main concern was for the child in the home. CRP stated Catherine has made up and fabricated ideas that the county child protection workers adore her work as a mother, and also fabricated that nurses are at the house for 10 hours. I told the CRP that I would document her concerns. I was advised by 2 deputies while I was on the call about the history of calls for Catherine, some of which involve swatting and others which involve her inflammatory social media posts.
Interesting that have said some include her inflammatory social media.
I did not make contact with Catherine due to the following facts concerns. The concerns of drinking, prescription drug use, profanity in the house do not appear to put the child in immediate danger. The fact that the CRP stated the concerns occurred yesterday live stream social media. The knowledge that other deputies and previous reports have indicated Catherine would not be receptive to law enforcement contact. That's why I put on my thought accuses to cooperate with police, because that is exactly how she would spin that statement. Wright County Child Protection has at least one previous referral regarding the matters regarding Catherine and her son Vaughn. I'll have the report forwarded to Wright County Child Protection. There was a report with I think about 4 pages for May 22. I'm not going to read it because it was from NK, so it was all just a bunch of crap. But I did find this part interesting where they were talking about a follow-up. On Saturday, May 28th, I received the following email from someone who identifies herself as Cassie. They mentioned Steve McRae, EKC People Suck. I blacked out her last name because I don't think she uses that publicly. And then there were 2 other people who I know are YouTubers, but they go by different names, so I blocked them out. But those are all mentioned. Now, this email is a bunch of... But at the bottom, the officer says, all or most of the names listed in the above email have been investigated by either the FBI or the Wright County Sheriff. Various allegations from Redacted and others. According to Spatial Agent Redacted, they have not charged anyone criminally. So I interpret that they did look into Steve and EKC People Suck and the other 2 listed and found that they have done nothing legally wrong, because, you know, Katie Joy likes to make the long list that we're all Steve McRae's hoes who do anything that he says.
Oh, remember? That's the list? Yeah.
And
it's very good. It wasn't listed. See, we all get really annoyed when we're not in. So here's another one. She got a harassment complaint. Party reported that she was getting bullied on the internet by Catherine Patton. I spoke to Redacted on the phone. I acted to explain what happened. About a month ago, she was interacting with Catherine's YouTube and Facebook pages. She made a comment on the pages, advised that the comments got some attention. Catherine docked her and exploited her information to Catherine's followers, advised that she had to receive death threats, advised Catherine is a reporter and has several lawsuits pending. I asked if Catherine ever threatened her. She said no. So, and then that's the message.
pending against her because she constantly breaches people's privacy. I asked her if Catherine ever threatened her in any way, and she stated no. I asked her if she ever spoke to Catherine regarding the issue she is having, and Catherine stated she tried to talk to her, but she has crossed the line. I advised her to delete Catherine from her YouTube and Facebook accounts. I advised her to consider staying away from social media and not interacting with Catherine's pages. She advised she would do so. Cleared from the phone call with her. I called Catherine and advised her on the complaint I received. Catherine advised that she is a reporter.
I actually am a reporter, so you can fuck off.
And has a following.
So now she's a reporter.
On social media sites. Catherine informed me that she has been harassed in the past due to her job, but she maintains professionalism. She doesn't violence.
Luca, do you want to fight? Can you go live with me and fight? I'll fight you.
Catherine advised that this person is an extremist and has direct messaged her several times regarding extremist views, and she has also messaged several of Catherine's followers. Again, if that was true, why when Katie Joy made that post did she only show her message to this person? Why didn't she show her all of these supposed direct messages about extremist views? Catherine stated she advised this person to stop sending messages and posted an update to her followers to ignore this person, which that makes no sense because that brought more attention to it. Catherine advised that she has not contacted this person and she feels she is trying to make a report to her harassment. Catherine advised that this person has been part of a group that has called in previous calls to law enforcement regarding her and her family. I don't believe that to be true. I advised Catherine to block her and to not interact with her. Catherine advised she would do so and thanked me for informing her on the complaint. I cleared from the phone call with Catherine. This last report had person's information, but apparently she is not somebody who is very trustworthy, very honest. So keep that in mind. On September 21st, 2022 at 16:31 hours, I was dispatched to harassment out of state in Redacted, originating from address. Redacted called into dispatch recording Catherine Mansky-Paulson was harassing her online and was violating a harassment restraining order. I checked Catherine through NCIC and dispatch and could not find any active HR against or for Catherine. I found Catherine to have a long history of her residents getting swatted, complaints being called in about her A-ing her child, and harassment. These complaints seem to stem from Catherine's large social media following and her content she posts. I spoke with Redacted and she provided me a she filed on August 1st, 2022. Again, I was unable to locate the HRO on NCIC. She stated she was unable to file an HRO, only covering domestic partnerships, and she filed the Minnesota HRO online. She stated she had never received a court notice or signed copy of her HRO from a judge. I informed her the HRO was never signed or served and was not in active order. Did she get it from the cult? Do you think she got it from the cult? I think she got it from the cult.
She got it from the cult.
Katie Joy's own worst enemy has always been her mouth. How do you understanding Katie Joy might have been right on that, where that stuff out or interacting with her? To be noted, Catherine did claim this person was known to harass people online by several different methods. Do you see that contradiction there? The officer definitely picked up on it. Katie Joy's own worst enemy has always been her mouth. How do you not know about this person and deny knowing them, but then also say that you know this person is known to harass people online? Catherine later contacted me, stated she had received a copy of this person's latest Redacted. I again confirmed through NCIC there was no Redacted for Catherine and found Catherine had received this person's Redacted in its entirety. There was no judge's signature on Catherine's copy. Catherine claimed all her claims were false, and this person had sent it to her in an attempt to scare her. I informed Catherine if she was served, she could set up a court date. Catherine stated she to her just settling several previous court cases. Maybe stop defaming people, then you won't have to deal with so many court cases.
Right, so that is some of what she's got. So I've linked it down below, okay? So I want you to you can go watch the whole thing, because some of it's wild, like it's wild. Oh look, I got the sunshine. Now I need to find the other thing I've got for you, because somebody posted Gypsy's oh yeah, that's what it was. The divorce thing. So let me just give me a moment and let's just see if I can find it for you, okay? Let's see if we can find it. I've just got to log in. I'm still... Has my sound been better since I changed to this new thing? Okay. And they're slowly starting to name... Oh, it was fairy dust. I know, I have sun. They've actually just named. They've now named three of the victims now. So, fact, a millionaire's daughter was actually was a victim of this thing. So it shows you that. Where is it? It even shows you that it doesn't matter. Money doesn't save you in the end. Having lots of money doesn't save you in the end. So I just, where was it? Here we go. So this is from Crime Chicken Feed on Facebook. Has got the divorce documents of Gypsy Rose. Now into court through the undersigned counsel that comes petitioner Gypsy Rose Elisa Anderson, a person of full age of majority and domiciled in the parish of state of Louisiana. Made defendant hearing is Ryan Scott Anderson. Correct. The Honourable Court has jurisdiction over the proceedings, so it's that. Venue was proper. They were married on the 20th 31st of July. They last resided together in husband and wife in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's got old writing, like it's written old style. The parties did not enter a covenant marriage consistent with Louisiana revised revised statute, or at any time covenant their marriage, covenant marriage, whatever that means. What on earth does that mean? Are they saying it wasn't a proper? Okay. So petitioner and defendant physically separated on March 25, 2024, and lived separate and apart since that time. They have no more children. She desires to be divorced from the defendant because she intends to live separate and apart from the defendant without reconciliation for the requisite period of time, 180 days. She requests that the court order the defendant to pay petitioner interim spousal support because she has a need and the defendant has an ability to pay. I thought he was unemployed now and she was earning the dough. In due time, the petitioner, Gypsy Rose, respectfully requests this honourable court to order the defendant to pay the petitioner final spousal support because the petitioner is in need and the defendant has an ability to pay, and she is not at fault in the dissolution of marriage. She respectfully requests the defendant is not entitled to final spousal support as he is at fault in the dissolution of marriage. So they obviously have a you've got to be at fault, is that right? Where in Australia we have no fault divorces, by the way. The petitioner requests the court issue a temporary restraining order enjoining and prohibiting both the petitioner and the defendant and any entity, agents, firms, partnerships, other legal entities acting or claiming to act on their behalf from in any manner whatsoever alienating, encumbering, or disposing of any or all assets of the community of gains previously existing the parties herein. Right? Information, trade secrets, private employment documents, private conversations, private contractual agreements from public inspection. There, the petitioner prays that the defendant, Ryan Anderson, duly cited to answer this petition, that he be served a certified copy, that after due delay, the petitioner shall be granted a judgment of divorce pursuant to Louisiana Code, and she will be able to use her maiden name. A temporary restraining, rejoining, and prohibiting the petitioner and defendant and any other persons. The parties should not be ordered to. The parties should not be ordered to file their respective sworn detailed descriptive lists. Should not be ordered within 45 days of this service of this petition on defendant Ryan Scott. A rule NISI be issued ordering the defendant Ryan Scott to appear. So they don't want it written, they want him to appear before his honourable court to show why the petitioner should not be entitled to interim spousal support in the amount determined by the court, the preliminary injunction of the same substance of the temporary restraining order, the parties' proper community property regime should not be terminated retroactively to days of fun, divorce proceedings should not be sealed, and then that is the receipt there. And then it says, someone posted this. It says, just in case you missed it, someone close to Gypsy Rose family talk. Gypsy cleared some things up. What's going on with her and an employee who shared a photo of Gypsy and Ken has been fired. Gypsy and Ryan split up. No, they did not split up because of Ken. No, Gypsy isn't pregnant. Gypsy gave the part to Ryan. No, Ken is not a felon and has no criminal record. Gypsy does not have whatever an OF is. No, she's not back with Ken and isn't planning on being romantic with anyone until she divorced Ryan. He was convinced Rob and Chrissy was trying to poison Gypsy against him. He wanted Gypsy to get pregnant, and Gypsy isn't ready to be a mum. The reason Gypsy and Ryan had broken up is because he was controlling and even seemed to be jealous of Gypsy's dad. Fights would start because she wanted to see her family, to the point of almost being a physical fight. Ryan would limit her contact with other people, and since Gypsy doesn't know how to drive, he extremely limited her on where she could go. If she went anywhere, either Ryan or his mother, she barely knew, had to be there. And someone says, doesn't that sound like Dee Dee? No, Rob was not against Ryan until now. He actually wants his daughter happy and was wanting them to get out. Her final straw was her wanting to go see Mia, and he told her no again. Mia is who picked her and her stuff up after they hung out for the weekend, and she went back to her parents. The amount of people who think Gypsy was using Ryan is insane. Her mum, Christy, and dad kept money on her books, and with her parents, she had a place to go after she got out. Part of her process has been to reconnect with people in her life that helped her while she was locked up, one of them being Ken, who lives out of state. When they broke up, they just stopped the relationship, not the friendship. One of the reasons they broke up is because she felt she needed to experience life before getting married. Ken has been a very supportive friend who came to visit. That's it. Think about Ken and Ryan's reasons for even writing Gypsy. Ken, he watched Mum dead set and wanted to reach out to her after to tell her how it made him feel, and he felt horrible for what she went through. Ryan, he wrote her on a dare. His friends wrote Joe Exotic Tiger King, which is a fun fact actually, and he wrote Gypsy just to see if he could get a response. So that is the goss on Gypsy Rose. So that is the divorce filing that's been shared online. That's about all I've got for you, but I want you to go watch Nene's video because it is pretty hair-raising, because you get stuff like this. This is about the dog, and they received a warning, a violation. This one, she was saying that Jillian from Jilly Juice, you know, the first person that sued her, was harassing her. She's a journalist. She says she's a journalist there. This one made me, I didn't know how to take this one. Have a read this one. She reported that she'd received a letter addressed to her 7-year-old son from a collection agency. She said it said that he owed $1,230.34 to Bria, and she said that she contacted the company, who said they did not send them into collections, and they showed them owing no money to them. She said she called the number on the letter, and they were very unprofessional, and said Von owed them the money, and they had to pay us. It would be judgment declared. What do you make about that? Is that around the time that he did all those games on iPad? I mean, is that one of the companies? Could that company? And how many times in that video, did she actually state she was a public figure? Is my other question. Now, Bria RX is the name of a pharmacy, I believe. So it's a pharmacy. It's a specialty pharmacy. So did she not pay for her medication? Anyway. And then there's that one. This one is about this Amber Portwood, by the way. Amber Portwood. And again, she's posted all of this. Cody isn't a poster child. Just because he recently became monogamous doesn't mean less involved. A friend of his told me that Cody allegedly openly bragged that he was addicted. There we go. As I said, Miss Balls has all the receipts. If you haven't, don't follow her on Twitter. Do her Mama Girl are the two to follow. What's DBT? So she says, none of the above. She's not done anything. And she says, I have done therapy on and off for years. I've been formally diagnosed by a licensed psychologist through extensive testing. I have ADHD, anxiety, PTSD, and disorder with comorbid OCD. No personality disorders. There's no such there is no such she said there is no such thing as there's no such diagnosis. There is cluster B personality disorders which overlap, but perhaps she sent this email. I'm not sure what personality disorder she says doesn't exist. By the way, it wasn't very clear. I know one person that writes like this. He's been doing this for years. He has done a lot of ridiculous things over the years. He's a certified narcissist and psychopath. I never said PBD isn't real. NBPD is not a diagnosis. So who's she blaming there? Are we she blames everybody. Apparently she did 3 hours ago. She went on YouTube. Apparently did a live. Let's have a look. Tell you where we'll find it. Playboard. If it's there, we'll at least see if it was there. Let's have a look. And then that will be me done for today, I think. All right, live. It doesn't show that she went live. That's not to say let's have a look. It's not to say she hasn't. It's just not shown up here. So the last live stream recorded here is on the 25th of the 2nd, and she got $99. So I'm not saying that she didn't. I'm just saying that it's not showing here. So we'll have another look tomorrow. She needs to do Instagram lives, not YouTube lives. I like you anyway. So, right, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you all. But please make sure that you go check out Nini's video. And also, I've listed them below. I've tagged them. Very important, particularly if you want what has been listed there. It would seem that I would say half of that, a lot of the reports are from her, reporting about things that people have allegedly done to her. There's some from the neighbours. There are some from, the dogs have caused some issues. I think there's 2 or 3 regarding the neighbours and the dogs. I mean, one is, before I go, my last time before I go, let's just look at this. And if you're on the replay crew, make sure you say hi. So this is where she's saying that she's going to delete false information. I delete comments that include false information about the AUB and Cody Brown. I've spent 5 years investigating and reporting on this cult. Cody has lied over and over about his disconnection from the cult. He's still connected. I've had many members confirm this to me. If he was out, he would be labelled as an apostate. He has just refused to denounce his church or polygamy, because if he does, he'll be completely shunned by his own family and all of the group. So this is the Cody isn't a poster child. So under doctrine, Cody and Janelle are still married. He can and likely does claim her as a wife, even if he doesn't say so publicly. She said that she cannot divorce him due to her faith. They've issued a public statement terminating their marriage. Janelle is living in limbo. Mary did it for years. The current AUB prophet Dave Watson claims 8 wives, which is hysterical given his first wife divorced him years ago. Yeah, make sure you're watching it. It's about an hour. I think it's a long video. So we saw that one. Yeah. A source with direct reach told me this week that members of the AUB are allegedly illegally trafficking in Mexican women in the United States of plural wives. The AUB has been hit by a fatal genetic disorder due to inbreeding. So there you go. The source stated that their relative brought in a teenage Mexican girl into the United States. The girl doesn't speak English, given to a man due to his proximity to the prophet. The man claims the girl is 18, but the source believes she's 15. The AUB leaders have been going to Mexico every few months. Despite claims on sister wives, former members of the AUB told me that they were married underage by their fathers, his first wives, because a parent can sign a child into marriage at 16 in Utah. 16 siblings frequently marry men in their 20s, according to my sources. Well, one of my grandmas was 17 when she got married. The other one was 18. And she keeps saying, according to my sources. You can read that. Again, you can read that. Well, I'm hoping now that I've solved my microphone problem, and we will be right on song now. So, it is all slowly. Yes, and I've got my own natural sparkles. I don't need fake sparkles. I got real sparkles. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me, and hopefully you've enjoyed yourself today. Or tonight, whatever it is, whatever time it is in your place. It is 4:32 p.m. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it, Bella? Oh no, what she does is she copies it and then she posts it all over the world. That happens. And then that if you actually watch Nene's video, you'll find that she's a journalist, she's a YouTuber, she's a blogger, a crime reporter, and she swaps and changes. And she actually complains. They actually complain about the fact the neighbours think of them as evil. So lots of questions, but she got them all. As I said, they're all public records. But yes, the one about the son and the bill has me a bit confused. I have to say, I'm a bit confused about all of that. hang on. Oh, and there's one more thing I do want to say. Mum, let me just do this because I just put it out there before the trauma vulture gets to it, because I'm yeah. Oh, I just want to do. She posted again. Oh, yeah, there's another one. She's just posted this 59 minutes ago. I don't even know over there. Someone's not sleeping. Which channel? Nina? Yeah, I can do that. So she's just posted that. There's a mile from my home. I've never met her. But shocking that the posts made to her about how much she was loved. I refuse to be like my community. And she's saying innocent children who were murdered, totally lost the plot. She was recently divorced and her ex-husband had joint custody. The kids did not have to die. They had a father. She was not postpartum. Her children were 4 and 9 years old. This is not postpartum depression. You got no idea what she was. That's my point. You don't know. I feel really sorry. Like, I'm sorry. It's not all about. Sometimes it's not all about you. And I don't understand it. But yeah. All right, we've got to go to Jill Dillard. And Jill Dillard posted this. And I wanted to just express my sincere and utter to Jill and Derek, who have said it's with every heavy heart that we announce the stillbirth of our beautiful baby girl, Isla Marie Dillard. Jill was 4 months pregnant during August when we found out that our baby had died in utero. From the moment we found out we were pregnant, we couldn't wait to meet our baby. Isla was much loved from the start, and her 3 big brothers were so excited to introduce her to their world. We appreciate your prayers as we continue to grieve and heal from the loss of our little Isla Marie. And then it's interesting. Ginger says, love you so much, uphold you in prayer. Amy says, Isla Marie, such a beautiful name and meaning, praying continuously. God has a plan through all the heart. You've been on my mind in our prayers and will continue to be. We love you all very much. And Jill says, thank you. Dina, we love you all. We are continuing to pray. Isla Marie, so much loved, forever our first girl. And Jill says, thank you so much. So, as I said, I just want to give my sympathy and my thoughts and loves to Dillards. And so okay, let me just put in the I'll go and put this video in here, and it's actually in the channel description. It's in the channel description. The one that you should watch, I believe, is EKC. People Suck. She's got a 2-parter on she's looking at the R reports. So this is the start of Nini's video. I'll just put that there.
Some support my way. Get a badge. Buy a badge. Send some love. Because this is going to be a journey. Like melting off my face. It's going to be a journey tonight.
That's the start of it. Yes, and she's got starts with Katie Joy's freedom of information disclaimer. So yes, so that's how she's done it. And then she goes through and she talks about this.
A couple years ago, people started talking about Katie Joy's police report from that time, and she went absolute.
So yeah, so she goes in really depth. It's 54 minutes to spare. So there's James from reality, what's it called? Oh yeah, you can see what I watch. It's really boring stuff I watch. It was oh look, there's mine. Because I'm having a good time. My is the other channel to watch. My Take on Reality is the other channel, and I'll just pull him up as well. All right. All right, there you go. Some light viewing for you. Okay, so they're the videos that I've talked about today. So as I said, thank you for watching. I will catch you next time. Tomorrow's my last day off before I'm back at school, and so I will then may not be posting as much. I'm hoping to do some other videos that I can post during the week for you to still keep going with some live streams. I'm going to try and do at least 3 or 4 times a week, my night times. Anyway, catch you later. Thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.